Remember, with your insurance, if you do any upgrades to the suite, it won't be covered by the Strata's insurance. So that's another reason why you have to have your own personal insurance. In other words, if you bought the suite with carpet on it, well, that's how the developer sold it. If you put a hardwood floor in, if there's a flood from the suite above, they'll only put it back to carpet. They won't put it back to the hardwood that you have. So, very important to make sure that you have your insurance. The big thing whenever you have an issue is to inspect the problem immediately. You've got to act promptly and with the best interests of the tenants, and obviously for the owners. We immediately call restoration companies. We liaise with the building caretakers and strata property managers and the various insurance adjusters. We have them lined up outside the property. People for the owner, the tenant, and the building, and they're all fighting. And it's good to have them because then they're fighting it out between themselves. The insurance people. Make sure you make a document of everything, right?
Take many, many pictures, document absolutely everything, especially if it's deemed to be a tenant cause of the problem, because for arbitration, of course, does tend to lean on the tenant side, so you must be extremely well documented, and they love pictures. Very, very important to have pictures of everything. Even if it doesn't look like you can see something, put a pen or a coin there just to show that you have properly documented it, and it will help your case.
The women in my office are extremely, what shall I say, anal about taking notes and taking pictures of things. And it's very, very important. Tanya, our senior property manager, went to an arbitration just recently. She had 105 pages of evidence. Obviously she won. I mean, she never loses because she has so much evidence. And the minute something goes wrong with the tenant, she's always taking notes or whatever. And we have everything, pictures, and the file is, you know, like this thick. So when we go into an arbitration, we have a very good chance that we're going to win. But you never really know because they are stacked in favor of the tenants, as Lisa's saying. Which brings us to the first pitfall. Placing the wrong tenant is an absolute nightmare. We've seen this all over the city. Yes, you can throw your ad on Craigslist. Do you want to talk about that?
Certainly. I do the marketing and leasing for Downtown Suites, and one of the most important things that you can do for your property is to make sure that you get a good tenant in at the beginning, and you do your due diligence at the beginning before you put them in. Because once they're in, as many of you may have experienced, it's extremely difficult to get them out. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be a bad tenant paying rent, but also it's just personalities. Are they the type that are going to be calling you every 5 minutes for something, etc.? So the first thing that we do is on showings, we get a feel for the people as well. We don't do everything just by email. I talk to people on the phone and kind of pre-qualify them before they even come out to see the property, so we don't waste so much time, because there's a lot of looky-loos out there as well. What we do is, as far as the documentation goes, paperwork, the process is we do credit checks, landlord checks, employment and income verification. Even if they're self-employed, they can provide you with bank statements showing deposits for a few months, because of course rent is very important and that's the most critical thing. We do personal references as well. That sounds maybe a little ridiculous. Well, they're going to name a friend that loves them. However, if you do have a problem down the road and you have to go to arbitration, they're going to ask about your application process. And it needs to be extremely detailed with phone numbers, even quotes of what people have said about them, because it shows that you've done your due diligence in placing this person. And if an applicant looks great on paper, you might not get the right feel for them. Would you put... I ask myself the question, when I put them in my investment property, would I have lunch with these people? And oftentimes, if you feel something's wrong, it's going to come back to bite you. Down the road, as I said earlier, it might be a tenant that there's a little scratch on the wall, and he's on the phone, every day for something small. So again, it's worth it to take your time and choose the right tenant. Extremely important.
Extremely important, and we take that very seriously at Downtown Suites. We have a 3-level tier of tenant approval process. First of all, as Lisa has said, she's one of these old-fashioned people that still uses the telephone. And I fought with her about that when she first came to the company. I said, gosh, I've invested all this money in this very sophisticated online showing system. You know, it costs us thousands of dollars. But she said, no, I want to use the telephone. But it's actually very good. And obviously it's very good because she gets to talk to them. And
well, if somebody's rude and abrupt with me on the phone before showing, imagine how they're going to be as my tenant.
That's right. So Lisa goes and she shows the properties, and the next step is that we have the in-suite in-house team. They will check all the references. And finally, they always come to me. All tenants have to be approved by me. Lisa comes in with the application form, 3 pages long. I go through the whole list and verify that the credit checks are being done, how long, if they're a young couple, how long they've been together, what's the chance of them staying together. A lot of little silly things like that, but are very important actually, because you'd be surprised how many times people leave suites because they've broken up.
It's true.
And the girl's stuck there and she can't afford to pay the rent, and John's gone, and there we are, we're stuck with it, and then we've got to re-rent it, and the owner's out of pocket. So we want to make sure that we have no problems, or as little problems as possible. So hence why we're so strict on that. Bad tenants. This is a real situation of a suite that an owner had placed himself. Very nice guy, he's a bank manager, works for HSBC, now somewhere in the Bay Area. And he had a suite, it was downtown, I'm going to show you the building, it's on the Suites on Georgia. And rented to a lovely girl who looked like she was a nun at the time. Yeah. Later found in her high heels and underwear in the lobby meeting men, so that was a clue. And her boyfriend, of course, was in the meth business. And here's the door that had been jimmied open. They actually ripped the washer and dryer out of the wall to use that as a...
That's the dryer, isn't it?
That's the dryer, yeah, but they ripped the washer out as well to use that as a barricade to stop the SWAT team coming. Because I had their friend Stefano, the eviction service, go in, and they got them out, and then they broke back in again, and then finally we got the police SWAT team came in and took them out. So
remember, we didn't place these people.
we didn't place these tenants. It's one of the reasons why we don't really, very rarely take on other people's problems now. Like if they placed a tenant without us in the process, we just don't want to know, actually. Because they don't do such a strict background check as we do. That's the concern. Here's the living room. And actually there was a poor cat in that thing. He burrowed inside that Chesterfield to die, but I managed to save him and I got him rescued, and he's got a good home now. Yeah, he's got a good home now. Now there's a little bit of a mess in the kitchen. By the way, you're going to talk about messes that it's not really covered much.
Oh,
there's
yes.
the building where it happened.
When moving a tenant out, what is deemed to be fair wear and tear is always a question that owners have and tenants have as well. What's very important is, of course, and we'll get to that, is that when they move in that you have an inspection form, and then when you move out you have the same form. But you cannot expect tenants to hire a professional cleaner when they're moving out. That is not deemed reasonable with the Residential Tenancy Act. So if there's a few crumbs in the cupboard, etc., the Residential Tenancy Act, if it's nothing major, is going to say that that's a landlord expense. So it's not worth going to arbitration over $50 or $100 cleaning. It really isn't. So that's something that you can't expect them to have professional standards for cleaning. And as far as, say, scratches on the walls, what is usually reasonably and accepted is a few scuff marks, scratches, it's okay that they put artwork on the wall as long as it's not big bolt holes. If it's big bolt holes, say they put a TV up, then the cost of filling the bolt holes can be charged back to their security deposit. But you must get them to sign for everything on the move-out inspection. But
you can't withhold any monies unless they've agreed to it ahead of time. Otherwise, it's an arbitration procedure.
Right. We can talk about that.
We'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay, the second pitfall we have here is the agreement. We're jumping the gun a bit. But you have to use the Residential Tenancy Office's standard residential agreement. You can download that. That's the...
That's the standard.
Yeah, you have to have that, but you are allowed to have an addendum. Downtown Suites has, what do we have, 35 extra things on the addendum?
Yeah, we have like a 13-page addendum. It's from years' experience of things that come up that aren't covered in the
to protect us.
Yeah, so it's very important to have extra addendums that the tenant sign and initial.
Make them